Hey guys, welcome to Mastermind number 3. This is Frederick Munawa from Blockchain Innovation Academy. And if you haven't watched or listened to Masterminds 1 and 2, please do that at blockchain.global/academy. We have been going over the 10 major challenges people have when it comes to learning about blockchain and cryptocurrency. We've already covered 7 of those challenges, including issues like the lack of real-world use cases and examples, the lack of in-depth educational content from trusted sources, networking and career paths for non-technical people in the blockchain industry, synthesizing content from multiple disciplines like computer science, cryptography, finance, economics, law, making sense of cryptocurrencies, and much more. If you've been following these masterminds, then you'll know that I've been working on creating a membership site for learning the key concepts of blockchain and cryptocurrency, and that will go live this week. You'll also know that I sent a survey to about 1,500 people last week and asked them what their biggest challenges were when it comes to learning about blockchain and cryptocurrency. There was an overwhelming response to that survey, so I decided to record this special 4-part video and podcast series going over the 10 most common issues. Why? Well, for the sake of thousands of other people out there who are experiencing those very same challenges. The question I asked in the survey was, when it comes to learning about blockchain and cryptocurrency, what is the single biggest challenge, question, or frustration you have? And we already covered 7 of those 10 challenges in Masterminds 1 and 2. You can watch those videos at blockchain.global/academy. But in this mastermind number 3, we discuss the final 3 challenges submitted in that survey, challenges 8, 9, and 10. So without further ado, here is challenge number 8. And this individual said, my biggest frustrations are as follows: the use of jargon, assumption of prior knowledge, fanboy enthusiasm, speed of change, blockchain variance, differences in strengths, lack of understanding of underlying cryptography, not knowing who Satoshi Nakamoto is, huge number of wallet and cryptocurrency options. Okay, so you've packed a lot of stuff in there, but basically you have 1, challenges with the use of jargon, 2, overenthusiasm and hype, 3, a rapidly changing environment, 4, not understanding cryptography, 5, you are overwhelmed by the number of different wallets and cryptocurrencies. You know, the total number of tokens and cryptocurrencies, I was just looking at this the other day, at the time of this recording, ranges anywhere from 3,000 to over 8,000, depending on the source. So yes, I totally get you. And then you'd like to understand the pros and cons of different blockchains, and you're not comfortable with Satoshi's pseudonymity. Okay, so let's just summarize and unpack that. You are looking for blockchain content that is simple and straightforward, that a beginner can understand, a resource that keeps up with the rapid rate of change in the blockchain space, and a resource that is hype-free and breaks down the long list of industry jargon. Well, what can I say? You would be an ideal member of Blockchain Innovation Academy. But seriously, in order to prevent being overwhelmed, you must master the fundamentals. And you don't have to know everything, that's impossible anyway, but get to know Bitcoin and Ethereum before studying other blockchains like Cardano or Stellar or EOS. And then in terms of cryptography, get to know public key cryptography and hashing before getting into the more complex stuff. And then regarding your issue about being uncomfortable, not knowing who Satoshi is, I would say familiarize yourself with cypherpunk tradition. Cypherpunks are individuals who put immense value on their right to privacy, and Satoshi happens to fall into that category. So once you understand that, you'll understand why Satoshi has remained pseudonymous all along. Okay, on to challenge number 9, and this person says, my biggest challenge is the technical part. Some of my issues include why mining takes up so much energy, how private chains are more efficient but less democratized, why everyone seems to go for cryptocurrencies within their applications instead of hard USD cash. Or did I misunderstand this? Okay, so what I'm hearing from you is that you're concerned with 1, mining and wasting electricity, 2, if there is a trade-off between efficiency and decentralization with private blockchains, and then 3, the legitimacy of tokens versus fiat in decentralized applications, what we call dApps. Okay, so in terms of mining, I covered this in Mastermind 1, but I'll repeat it here. The computational effort used in mining does consume large amounts of electricity. However, mining is not an arbitrary activity. It is used for security, consensus, and regulating the money supply. So proponents of mining argue that it is not wasteful and it is actually useful. And then regarding private blockchains, yes, there is a trade-off between efficiency and decentralization. Private chains are inherently centralized, meaning they are controlled by one or more entities, and therefore those entities can make decisions and operate faster and more efficiently, unlike public blockchains like Bitcoin, where you have something like 12,000 nodes that must achieve consensus. And then regarding cryptocurrencies being used in applications versus actual US dollars or other fiat currency, this became the default dApp design during the 2017 to 2018 ICO craze, primarily because everyone wanted to legitimize their token so they could raise money by incorporating that token into their dApps, thereby making it a so-called utility token versus a security token, which would require exemption or registration with a securities regulator like the SEC in the US. And we have a whole lesson on security tokens in the academy, by the way, but that's primarily why literally thousands of tokens were incorporated into dApps between 2017 and 2018. Okay, let's move on to challenge number 10, the final frontier. This is actually a combination of two responses, and I believe it is the same person. So first, this person said, how can someone who can't code get hands-on experience setting up and running transactions and contracts over a permissioned blockchain? Any reasonable simulation would be great. Reading and listening to podcasts doesn't take me as far as I want to go. So that's how this person framed the first response, and then they went on to say, I think I already answered once, but my biggest challenge is finding hands-on experience that non-developers can practice with. I always hear companies say you can set up a working blockchain in half an hour. I haven't put in a ton of effort, but I've never been able to successfully do it. The other big challenge is finding a good resource library that aggregates and categorizes news articles, white papers, trade publications, podcasts, etc. Okay, first, thank you for doubling down and providing so much detail. So in summary, you're having difficulty finding hands-on resources that non-developers can practice with, and you're having difficulty finding a good resource that aggregates and categorizes news articles, white papers, trade publications, podcasts, and other resources. Now, if you're a non-developer, do you want to practice coding or something else? So I wasn't very clear about that part of the question, but to practice coding in, say, Solidity, which is Ethereum's smart contract language, the online resources are there, but obviously more sparse than resources for traditional languages like JavaScript or Python. Now, full disclosure, we don't have developer resources yet in the academy, but that is not outside of the realm of possibility at some point in the future. And then in terms of finding one central resource that you can rely on for your content, you kind of face the same problem because our industry is divided into different cliques, if you will. You have the enterprise blockchain people here, then you have the cryptocurrency folks there, and then, of course, within those groups, you have further subdivisions like the Bitcoin maximalists on one side and the Ethereum folks on another side, or the Hyperledger folks on one side and the R3 folks on another side. And this is the problem, by the way, Blockchain Innovation Academy attempts to solve, to become that one trusted resource for all things blockchain. So thank you for taking the time to respond twice, my friend. And that brings us to the end of this mastermind, the final 3 of the 10 major challenges people have when it comes to learning about blockchain and cryptocurrency, challenges with the use of jargon, a rapidly changing industry, not understanding cryptography, Satoshi's pseudonymity, mining and wasting electricity, trade-offs in private blockchains, the legitimacy of so-called utility tokens, and finding a good resource that aggregates information and content. Again, these are all problems I want to solve with Blockchain Innovation Academy. And then in our 4th and final mastermind video, I'll actually give you a tour of the academy. Also, if you have a challenge you'd like for me to address, leave it in the comments below. And is there anyone you know who is interested in learning more about blockchain? If you answered yes, share this video or podcast episode with them. The video is available at blockchain.global/academy. So I'll see you in a couple of days in Mastermind 4, the final Mastermind. Get ready for the Academy tour. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening.